Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Anime Church. I am your host, Richie Roberts, your Minister of Science and Technology. I'm
I
joined.
am. Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
am Moonlight Sparks, your Minister of Arceology.
And
Praise
I am
Arceus.
Fenrir Sarun, your Saint of Snackos.
And it's going to be, we don't have a lot of topics, so it's going to be kind of a short sermon today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hopefully.
yeah.
Maybe not. Depends on how we feel.
Yeah, that's also true. So it is a thing. We are going to add another review starting next week. We just haven't done it this week. We need to get somebody caught up on another show. It's Moon. We gotta get Moon caught up on a show.
I'm pretty sure everyone figured that out.
It's not
quickly.
gonna take.
Yeah.
It's not gonna take long though. It's a D&D show. Moon's gonna want to get caught up because it's a D&D show. Yeah. We're gonna get Moon caught up on the Legend of Vox Machina. It comes out on Fridays.
I hear they have a bear, which is really neat.
The bear waits outside. What's really funny is, all right, here's a funny little story for you and it starts from The Last of Us. Here's a funny little Last of Us side note story. One of the voices in season 1 is actually Bobby, aka Logic. Logic voices a background character, one of the guards that says, "But the bear waits outside." That's actually Logic. Bobby.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Logical.
yeah, it's Logic, the rapper. And it's
Oh.
because he's such a big fan of The Last of Us and everything, and he actually oh no, Rick. Oh, I'm aware. I've already watched all 6 episodes of season 2. I'm super, super excited. I know what's going on with those 6 episodes. Trust me, I watched them in the wee hours of the morning of Friday morning. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. It's a good time, and I can't wait to show them with the others. We will have a watch along for that. But it's probably going to be not quite the same as the Last of Us watch alongs where we get a big crowd of us together and watch them. It's probably just going to be like the 3 of us.
If we got a big crowd,
mostly
dude, we'd take
because if we
forever
do-
to watch
yeah.
one episode.
You're not a fan of the changes though to the animation? Oh, well, I mean, you're trying to condense what is essentially a huge. All right, you got to understand these are 4-hour long like episodes for the
minimum 4 hours.
campaign. First week no near it hurts with how good the anime was. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we discussed this after last Anime Church, where they're going on hiatus for a couple months because of COVID.
Who is?
Oh, lovely.
The studio doing the Nier Automata anime.
Oh, okay. I mean, to be fair, I didn't really play Nier, and from what I understand, if you don't understand Nier, then like if you don't actually like if you don't understand the games, you're not gonna get the anime. And it was like, oh, okay, cool. Not gonna watch the anime. So I'm just not gonna watch the anime because I didn't really play the game that much, and I don't really get the game, so yeah, I'm not gonna watch or enjoy the anime. I finally sat down and watched Trigun. I watched the first 3 episodes in the new Trigun. I'm kind of digging it so far. I gotta say that the opening is killer. I fucking love the opening for Trigun.
I'm only 2
Stampede.
episodes in right now.
Fucking
I'm waiting for
amazing.
the English dub to catch up so I can see if Johnny brings the same Vash as before to this one.
I kind of hope so.
I
do
never
too.
watched.
It's not
I
gonna be
never
Vash, not
watched.
that voice.
I don't think I ever watched the English dub for Trigun.
Okay.
So it's
was
not
a
a
really
big
good
deal
one.
for me. So it's not a big deal for me. So I can understand if people grew up watching Trigun, but I never did, so it was never a thing for me. But that having been what it is, to each their own. I'm not gonna hate on people who want to watch the dub. You watch it dub, you watch it subbed. At this point in time, the dub subbed wars are over in my mind. Like,
Oh yeah.
It
if
should
you're
be.
still fighting over dub versus sub, you're an idiot. That's kind of where I'm at in my head. So
Unless
I
you're
mean-
part of the anime crimes division.
No, that's just, oh my God.
I was so sad they don't have another season of that.
This is how I do things. Unless it comes down with certain anime, and this is where I fall on things, because I've actually watched the sub for Yu Yu Hakusho, and if you're watching the subtitled version of Yu Yu Hakusho, you are doing yourself a disservice. I don't care what you say. You think they're doing your boy Kuwabara dirty in the dub? Fuck off. The rest of that show is so good that I don't care if you think that they have dumbed down Kuwabara. Kuwabara is here's the thing. You don't speak Japanese. You don't understand the nuance of what is happening. Kuwabara is an idiot in both versions. You're just not knowledgeable enough in Japanese to understand that they made him an idiot in Japanese. He's an idiot in both versions. You just don't understand Japanese, and you don't understand that they made him an idiot in both. Kuwabara is a moron in both. He really is.
He's your typical musclehead.
Yeah, he literally is. He literally is an idiot. Like, here's the thing. He's a wannabe thug in both versions. They just made him more of a meathead. It just comes across that he's a meathead in English because you understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, honestly, dude, I love the English version because he's more smarmy. And so, yeah, the dub, hands down, the dub. And same thing with Cowboy Bebop. If you're not watching the Cowboy Bebop dub, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm not saying I'm not hating on all the people that worked on Cowboy Bebop for the sub, but the dub is superior, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. But it is what it is. That having been said, that is the only. Those are there are some other exceptions out there. Yeah, I love that. Preach. Well, we're at Anime Church, so I'm gonna have to preach. Duh. This is my sermon. This is the hill I will die on, and if you don't like it, well, get the fuck out of church. Throw some holy water on your demon eyes on the way out.
There are no chains keeping you on that pew. You can leave anytime you want.
Leave. Yeah, there are no chains that we keep you bound here. Take your, put the cookies back put the cookies back down. You're not allowed to take them with you. Get out of the church. Walk away. Throw a nice little. I have a sword. It cuts through dimensions. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. It's true. They did my man dirty in the abridged. Yeah, that's kind of true. It's slices and dices, and it makes julienne fries. All right, everyone in chat, go like the video to help them out. Thank you, Kevin Jones.
Please.
All right, and all the people watching later, please like it to help us out. Help us.
Nibbles.
Fight.
Yes.
We have to fight the algorithm, man. But the nibbles. Yes. But yeah, we have to fight the algorithm, the almighty algorithm.
Fuck the algorithm.
Yeah, well
do not incur your wrath on us, please.
We don't want to fuck the algorithm.
Now, do we have to fight the algorithm dragon or team up with Denna the Drake to take it on?
Wait, what? Why is ReCentral booting up? What
now?
I don't know. I didn't touch anything, and like my all right. So
that's a good question. I don't know, Ricky. I don't.
But can it blow up a planet? That's a good question.
Very good question.
He's quoting Cell versus Yu Yu Hakusho.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I have.
What? Oh, it's great. Come on, Kuwabara. We're going back to Genkai's.
Stupid bug, man. I'll show you what my middle finger can do. They're gonna have to take the bus home because they're kids. All right. Anyway, so. Anyway, we gotta get started on the show, I guess. Let's actually talk about some of the stuff we're here to talk about. The Last of Us episode 2 dropped last Monday, which means hey, tomorrow. Well, not technically Monday. It comes out later tonight, but we watch it on Mondays.
Yep.
Which, by the way, if you haven't done so, over on my Discord server, I have a personal Discord server. I don't know if I'm linking that out to people, but stick around. You know what? That's what I'll do. Stick around to the end of the show. I'll drop the link to my my Discord server, and if you're there, I'll drop it link below or link in the chat. You can click on it and go join. Yeah.
Yeah, the watch parties are pretty fun.
We'll do a watch party. It'll usually be in the afternoon. Middle of the afternoon Central Time. We'll watch the show together. We try to do it before afternoon, evening-ish time. We try to do it within a reasonable amount of time so we can watch the show well before Slime, so we don't have to worry about it overlapping with Slime, and then we got to hustle to get ready for Slime. But so we can watch it and kind of form some opinions and pause it at certain places and chat about stuff, and just kind of we had some interest. Yeah, kind of make jokes, have some fun times. We didn't make as many jokes with this one this time.
Well, it was a lot more of a serious episode. There wasn't too much to make a good joke
okay,
about.
we definitely got our zombie fool this time. We got our zombie moments this time. All right, so let's sit down and talk about episode 2. Like the last episode, we started off with kind of a bit of backstory. So we got new content that was not in the game. This time we went to Jakarta, and it started off with for those of you that don't know, Jakarta is the capital of Indonesia, as they covered in the last episode. So we're getting callbacks. 2003, this covered 2 days before the outbreak.
Yeah. Did you guys see the game theory or film theory that was posted about it? Yeah.
And
which that was amazing. Like how
it gets even crazier. It gets even crazier. The podcast, there's a podcast that they do after the episode airs where they confirm that the theory that the fans had before was actually correct. That if you notice, they didn't eat the biscuits. They didn't have flour for pancakes. They didn't actually get cake, so they didn't eat flour at all in the first episode. So confirmed that the reason they didn't turn was because they didn't have any flour.
And then later, Ellie's the only one eating a sandwich with bread, with flour, because she's immune.
Yeah. So funny story is that literally, well, at that point, you'd think they'd probably grow in their own wheat and stuff. So they probably had.
I can see why they wouldn't. I mean, the fear that it's
CD Voices, no abridged episode. Do not care. Wow. Thanks. Appreciate that. Wow.
How nice.
How nice of you to tell us your unvarnished opinion.
Oh,
Thanks
yes.
for that.
Anyway,
this is Anime Church. This is not the abridged stuff. So I mean,
if you're here for the abridging content, it takes some time to put out some episodes. Maybe have a little patience.
I mean, to be fair, in their defense, it has been over a year and a half since I put out Slime episodes. So
it has.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been well over a year and a half since Slime episode 8. But I mean, to be fair, CD Voices, wow, another entitled fan. I haven't heard that one thrown at me in the last 24 hours. So yeah, wow.
Damn. That's a new record.
It's been
1 week since you looked at me, cocked your head to the side and said you're angry.
Yeah, so I mean, gimme. That's I mean, to be fair, at least you're still interested. So thank you. I'm glad that you're still.
We appreciate that much.
Do appreciate that. It's on its way. That's all I can say. It's on its way. We're
Kevin
still looking
Jones,
at
that
stuff.
is so mean.
We are looking, Kevin Jones. May he stub his toe on the coffee table. Come on.
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Don't. It's just one of those things.
Don't say that. Come on. If you're gonna do that, go for broke. May he step on the invisible Lego of life.
There we
go. Much better. Yeah. I hope you step on the. It'll heal. That's beautiful. I love that. All right. Anyway, good. So we started off with Jakarta, and leave it to HBO. We needed a naked human body on there.
Woman.
Naked human woman. To be fair, though, this wasn't like Hollywood beauty style. It was just, and this was just kind of like an I wouldn't say out of shape. It was just like a regular person. This wasn't like fitness model level, so I gotta give it to them. They just had like your average woman, And so yeah, we got like a little kind of autopsy post-mortem kind of breakdown of the fungal infection. And when she cut in, you didn't see muscle or tissue or anything like that. It was already fungus. Yeah, the fungus was already well taken. So you could kind of see how that old lady who is kind of in, stuck in her wheelchair could get up and move with a quickness like that in the first episode. The cordyceps fungus had already kind of sprung up and taken over most of her body. And then, of course, the body is dead and kind of cold, but the fungus is still moving because she pulled that stuff out of her mouth. And even after she pulled it out, it's still reaching out for her. And she's like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
And props to the actress in this scene, because like once she learned that there were 14 missing people, she doesn't holler, she doesn't say anything, but there's a recognition there because she's trying to put her teacup down and she's like shaking and stuff. And that's just, says so much with so little, you know?
Yep.
Just good acting right there. That's something that I don't think happens enough nowadays, how so much is said with so little in a scene. Like, man, there's just props to the show on just the caliber of people that they've cast in this show. Also, one other thing I want to point out, this episode was directed, the director for this episode was Neil Druckmann, the game director for The Last of Us. Yeah, so cool. That was an interesting thing I wanted to point out. The last episode was directed by I think it was Craig Mazin, who was one of the was the Chernobyl screenwriter, and also one of the screenwriters for or one of the co-creators for this series. And then this director was for the game director for The Last of Us. So that's going to be interesting. Also, interesting side note, what in the world is going on? Aver Media, why are you doing this to me? Why? There's got to be something crawling on it or something that's turning on that thing. All right. My capture card keeps turning on, and I don't know why it's doing that. That's weird. Yeah. Anyway, either that or there's like an update that's going on that I'm not aware of. Possibly.
More than likely.
More than likely. All right. Anyway, it's just really weird that it's happening during its stream. Anywho.
Yes, and then the lines that she gives after the teacup scene, just the deliverance of them were spot on. Like, not too over the top, not undersold. It's the resignation in the voice that really sells it.
Before I forget, lastly, I needed to go ahead and state that it has officially been announced The Last of Us has been picked up for a second season.
Woo!
This I don't know if that means there's a continuation of The Last of Us as in the part 1, or if they're starting The Last of Us part 2, like as far as the video game.
Honestly, the part 1 itself is long enough where it should have 2 seasons.
I don't know
if they want to do it justice.
I don't know how they're doing it, because let's see, tomorrow, or rather I guess today, but I mean we're going to be watching it tomorrow, we're getting Bill. So that's episode 3 is Bill. So we're moving decently through this, and there's 9 episodes. So, and considering how long these episodes are, we're probably going to get a good way through this series. I think we could probably get through all of the first game in 9 episodes, no problem. Especially because some of the stuff that we've seen brings us all the way to, I mean, you're not going to understand this. You're not going to understand this, Moon, but he will. We've already seen David's camp.
Yeah.
That's way, way further. That's 3/4 of the game further. So that's taken us pretty far. I think we're going to get all of it. So I think we're probably going to get into part 2. Now, as controversial as the second game was, I don't think it's as bad of a game. Here's the thing that everybody complained about was the story. The rest of the game was amazing. The graphics, the gameplay, the structure of the game, the enemy AI. I mean, everything else, like the mechanics of the game, how you had to hide, how they used dogs in the game, to like the mechanics, the stealth, like everything else in the game was like how they built from what they had in The Last of Us to The Last of Us 2. Nobody had any complaints about everything else in The Last of Us. The only thing that everybody bitched about was two main things: what Abby did and the fact that they made you play as Abby, because they forced empathy down your throat. They forced you to empathize with a character you didn't want to empathize with, and that was it.
We had also discussed how they could have done that better, instead of it being chopped up here and there throughout it. They could have started with Abby.
I get what they were trying to do. I personally don't agree with how they tried to do it. Yeah, I think season 2 is supposed to be going into part 2 of the game. I think I honestly want them to do part 2 as a series, because I want a kind of retelling of part 2. I want to see how they want. I honestly think that should be done differently. If ever there should be an adaptation of something, I think it should be part 2, because I think it can be told better.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing from the first Last of Us that I hope they bring into the show is the argument that Joel and Tommy had that caused them to stop talking for like 20 years.
Yeah, I want to know what happened.
Always been curious what happened.
Because we never found out what happened. We never do find out what happened between Joel and Tommy that broke them up. And that's something. But I mean, we kind of heard a little bit about that in the first episode. Like, it got brought up, you turned my own brother against me, kind of thing. But we don't get anything hopefully really about that. Yeah. Anyway,
which is hopefully the foreshadowing for it to show up later.
So we get the big reveal that there's no vaccine, there's no medicine, there's not, bomb the city, and like even the general that she's talking to is kind of taken aback by that. You can see kind of the horror on his face. So again, it's very subtle. It's less is more kind of thing. He's just kind of shocked by this. He's like. And then now we're made aware of what is going on in Jakarta, what this radio announcement was in episode 1. Oh, they were fucking bombing. And this is where it's interesting, because the Jakarta, as we come to find out, is actually is kind of the flower production factory of the world. It's where a lot of the flour comes from. So it actually makes a lot of sense. That's where if it got on the flour, the fungus, the perfect substrate. Yeah.
It was stated that all those people were working at that flour factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
So if the fungus got there, that's the perfect substrate, the perfect way that's the perfect super spreader. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then,
which she said that under her breath, just like, the perfect substrate.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah. It's like, if it's going to get anywhere, shit. It's like bomb the city. It's too late. Just get it. Get it now. Otherwise, the world is fucked. And it's like, it's too late. The world is fucked.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, mashed potato bread is actually pretty good and easy to make.
Mashed potato bread. Potatoes, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Stick them in a stew.
Bake them.
Now, here's my question, though. This is what I'm curious about. With the biscuits and with the cookies, because she didn't eat the cookies because raisin, yeah. But when they baked them, would the fungus have still survived? Because
if it's going to survive in the human body?
Yes, if it's going to survive in the human body. But baking is at much, much higher temperatures.
It is, and it has been proven. Oh, go ahead, Moon.
It is still that much like, the game, what was it called? Oh, what was it called?
But when you're baking, we're talking like 300 plus degrees.
Yeah, but it's heat resistance. There's not a cap to how much heat it can resist. And there is, like, if it evolves to have a heat resistance, it could evolve a really good heat resistance, depending on what strain it is.
Yes, but these aren't bacteria. These are fungus. So that
it's true, but at the same time, they also described how
evolution.
the cordyceps evolved to survive global warming. Therefore, it would theoretically evolve enough to survive 300 to 400 degree temperatures for extended periods of time.
Not necessarily, especially considering how the zombies were reacting to sunlight or later on in the show.
So sunlight could just be the UV rays itself, kind of like in I Am Legend, versus just heat itself.
Which that could turn into a
so there you go.
Like maybe
so
they
there
figure
you go,
out
ladies
UV
and gentlemen.
light is
So
a
there you
way
go,
to
ladies and
deter it.
gentlemen. That's how we beat the fungal infection in The Last of Us. Give it cancer.
Everyone, turn on your black lights.
I mean, isn't normal cordyceps infected insects? Don't they avoid sunlight as well because cordyceps just dies in sunlight regardless?
Cancer, guys, just cancer, sun cancer. Give them sun cancer.
Melanoma.
Yeah. Just give them sun cancer.
All right, guys, time for your yearly dose of melanoma.
So we've all learned. So we've all learned now. The best way to fight cordyceps: move to Africa. Go to the Serengeti.
I miss the rains down there.
Take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, we get that. We find out what the Jakarta broadcast of the news in Jakarta was about in the first episode. It was the bombing, and yeah, then we cut forward. I love that we cut forward. I love that they're super emphasizing in the beginning of the first 2 episodes that there's no cure. There's no way to make a cure. There's no vaccine. There's nothing. And then we immediately cut to Ellie lying in the fetal position in the grass in this beam of sunlight. And once again, they're showing butterflies. There's this butterfly motif going on there. And she is the cure. She has slept through the night. She wakes up. She turns around. There's Joel and Ellie ready to kill her.
Yep.
Or I'm sorry, Joel and Tess ready to kill her.
Tess, yeah, that's
and they start making their way downtown.
Speaking of Tess,
yeah, can't wait for her to win the best kiss at the Razzies. It's great.
God, that was so gross.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal really in the running for best dad in 2 franchises right now.
Best adoptive dad.
Yeah. It's going to be great because in March she's going to be having 2 simultaneous adoptive dad shows going at the same time cuz Mandalorian season 3 is going to be running around the same time that The Last of Us is winding down with its last couple episodes. So Mandalorian season 3 and The Last of Us are going to be playing at the same time. So that's going to be neat. Yep. Yeah, I love Ellie this episode. Man, Ellie had all the cursing. I'm a little sad that we did not. I'm a little sad that we did not go through the skyscrapers. Okay, so here's the sad thing that I do need to pass on to Moon. All right, so you remember at the end of the first episode where they played the 80s song and you saw those 2 skyscrapers and in the background when it was raining and thundering and everything? Okay, so the difference is between the game and this. And this, they slept in the little barber shop and then they started moving through the city in the daylight. Yeah, that didn't happen in the game.
They kept moving
through the storm at night in the game. Yeah, and they went through that big ass skyscraper.
Don't like that.
They went
the one
through
that was collapsing.
Skyscraper. The one that was collapsing. You actually had to move through that. That's where you first encounter clickers.
Lovely.
You also come across various bodies of a Fedra squad that got ambushed by the clickers.
Various bodies of a Fedra squad. And now that isn't to say that certain things in this show and in the game do not overlap. They do. The Boston Museum, that happens. Some things happen a little differently, and we'll go into that a bit. But the museum stuff does actually happen, but there's a lot more infected in the game than there are in this. In this, it was just the 2. It was just the 2 clickers. And to be fair, I actually like the 2 clickers more in this. It's actually more effective with the overall tension of the atmosphere, and it actually makes the clickers a lot more intimidating. with just the 2 clickers. And dude, we don't even want to get into the fact. And again, this is before you even get to the area. There's the downtown subway. There's the subway area before you get to the State House with the clickers and a couple of runners in there. God. Holy shit. Oh, God. Holy shit. Oh, yeah. See that? See that? That PTSD reaction to the subway and me mentioning clickers. There's like 4 fucking clickers in there with like 3 runners. It is
that subway is when you first realize there's something wrong and the Fireflies probably will not be alive when you meet them at the state building.
Yeah. And funny enough, that's when we start getting our first this is when we start crafting Molotovs.
Yeah.
And
we
shivs.
love Molotov
and
cocktails.
definitely shivs.
And shivs. And this is when we finally learn that shivs are the only way that we can survive against clickers. Yeah. Because you gotta understand something.
Also
here's the thing. This is the reason why when we see clickers, us as gamers, we have PTSD of clickers. Because clickers, if they get too close to you, they're insta kills. They're one-hit killers.
Unless you have a shiv.
Unless you have a shiv, they will instantly kill you. Clickers are not to be fucked with. Yeah.
And that's why when I was at work and we got clicker pops, I kept them in a drawer in the back because I did not want to see them.
Yeah, clickers are fucking terrifying, dude. And we haven't even gotten to bloaters.
Are we going to get bloaters if there's no spoilers?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. It's already been spoiled. Bloaters are in the trailer.
Oh, fuck.
A bloater has shown up in the... Bro. You're like, bloaters? That's the worst. Rat King. The fucking Rat King in The Last of Us Part 2. Ellie never encounters it. Thank fucking Christ. You notice how he's not saying anything?
Why? Why did you have to remind me?
The Rat King, isn't the Rat King like patient 0 or some shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he is.
The Rat King is literally an amalgamation of different types. It's essentially bloaters, clickers, and runners all combined.
I'm sure there's 1 or 2 others in there we haven't seen before.
All right, the one thing. All right, this is the one goddamn thing I want in season 1. I want the giraffe. If we don't get if we don't get the goddamn giraffe, I boycott this whole goddamn series.
That scene with Ellie seeing the giraffes for the first time was so fucking heartwarming.
Yes. I mean, I think we're already getting signs that we will get that because we're seeing signs of life everywhere else because we got the ducks. We got ducks. All right, so getting back to it because we're getting back. All right, so it happens a little earlier. We get the hotel scene. The hotel doesn't technically show up until Pittsburgh, and we talked about this when we were doing the watch along. The hotel doesn't show up until Pittsburgh, technically, but we got a little bit of the hotel stuff. So the hotel lobby is underwater, and they've got ducks in there. They got frogs in there. I love the little frog. I love the little frog playing the piano. We had our little Michigan J frog moment.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey.
Hello, my honey.
Hello, my ragtime girl. All right. So anyway, we had that fun little moment. So yeah, animal life is flourishing. And let me tell you, buddy, if you're like giraffes, what do you think has fucking happened to the zoos over the last 20 years?
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably got
I wonder what would happen to a lion who eats an infected.
God only knows.
Lion infected?
No! I don't need to see that.
That's a throwback to Outbreak File number 2.
Bro, no, that would be cool.
Don't.
Because a mane made of fungus?
No!
Oh!
Yes!
All right, anyway.
Oh, that would be cool.
I really hope
could you imagine a clicker lion?
No.
Dude,
what?
Yes. What? Yeah, I know I haven't played the game. I know I'm not scared yet, but that means I can torture you guys.
I'm just going to say this now. If that shows up, somebody from HBO is watching this.
Make it happen. That would be fucking amazing.
You're like, torture us. And I'm like, I hope it kills you first.
It probably will, let's face it. He'll probably want to pet it.
Anyway, So
it would just come up, and I'd be like, "Lion! Oh God!"
I also love this line as they get up there. It also kind of reminded me a little of Ghostbusters. You know how they're climbing the stairs and they're like, "Oh yeah, what floor are we on? 12. Well, let me know when we get to 20.
Let me know when we get to.
I'm gonna throw up.
I'm gonna throw up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But they're like, 10 floors. It wasn't so bad. Yeah, you try climbing 10 fucking floors with our knees. And I'm like, yes,
Thank you,
because it reminds us. These guys are in their 50s. Their knees aren't that great anymore. So we've got 50-year-old protagonists, you know? They're not.
And then we had
the
discussion
spry.
where the military ages you 20 years.
Yeah, the military ages you fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Invoking the lunatic powers of Moon.
Powers of
Indeed,
Moon.
Indeed, yeah.
Moon, the lunatic.
Yeah.
Not right now.
All right, so we got that going. We got that going. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm going to have to unplug this motherfucker soon. That's the third time this stupid thing has turned on me.
Just unplug it right now. Save yourself the headache.
It just keeps turning on, and I don't know why. It's activating like it's doing a thing. All right, anyway.
After the hotel, they got to the roof, and that's when we saw the first zombies.
Yeah, laying across the ground.
Not zombies. First infected.
Infected, thank you.
They were laying on the ground en masse, like just a giant mass grave. And then the sun comes out from the clouds, and they all just rush back. They do their best to stay out of the sunlight. And that's where the earlier joke about your daily dose of melanoma comes in. But Joel and Tess were describing how the longest cordyceps that they had discovered before the world kind of fell was, I think, like 2 miles long?
No, a mile long.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Mile long. It was a mile long.
If you're talking about realities, if you're talking about stuff based on reality of like the interconnected fungal stuff, it's not actually cordyceps, but there are actually a group of fungal interconnected fungal stuff in California, I believe. I know it's not cordyceps, but there's like a specific type of fungus that has like underground roots that are interconnected that are over like a mile long. Yeah, but it's not cordyceps specifically.
Yes.
But yeah.
And they were also describing how it was just one giant hive mind. So if you step on, say, a live fungus connected to this root, like a mile away, all the infected will know exactly where you are.
But they're also saying that while they're connected, it's not a consciousness. Like it's hive connected, but it's not conscious. Like so.
Like
that is something that they brought up. That's something that they brought up in the podcast. They were like, it's not consciously hive connected.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I need to start watching that podcast.
Yeah.
Also in the show, it showed how like they weren't just alerted immediately. The stuff itself had to come out of the ground, dig itself under one of the infected's fingernails.
It didn't have to go under
relay
the
message.
It didn't have to.
It did though, and that's what I remember. I hated that.
It did that, but it didn't have to. Like it wrapped around it and stuff. But like it, yeah. Anyway,
I think that was more to show that, the infected know where we are. We need to move.
Oh, it's magic. Anyway,
But it also is a nice throwback to the fact that the sun could be potentially dangerous to the fungus for the fact that it grows underground.
Yeah. So we get that nice, neat little exposition, and that does make it so dangerous. It's kind of like an alarm system. And then we head to the museum, and there is fungal growth all over the museum, but it looks kind of dried out. And sure enough, they check it. It is bone dry. So they start heading into the museum. They see a lot of old corpses, and they happen upon a fresh corpse. And then we already talked about that, Robert. We kind of already talked about that. We'll be talking about that later. Not today, but later next week, because we're going to start doing this stuff, but also for Legend of Vox Machina. So we'll talk about the Mighty Nine stuff too. Anyway,
The body that they found was obviously a civilian, so
yeah,
they thought fireflies
not
first.
not bitten, just
no,
kind of torn up. So
oh god, yes,
yeah. So Tess and Joel immediately kind of recognize it, and of course,
and they shut up,
and they shut the fuck up, and of course, little Ellie has a bunch of questions, and Joel's like, no, no questions, no quiet, silence, no talkie, shh, you shut the fuck up.
Wasn't there a point where Ellie stepped or tripped on something and made some noise?
She stepped on a hand,
yes,
a decomposed hand, yeah,
and they all just froze instantly.
And she has like the I'm sorry face, and it's like, bitch, watch where you walking.
I wouldn't say the I'm sorry face. It's like the I fucked up face.
Yeah, it's the oh shit. It was the oh shit face. But that wasn't enough noise because they were making plenty of noise just walking up the steps. It was the creaky ass steps, the old wooden creaky steps, and they're walking up. I mean, the place is coming apart to begin with. The roof collapses, and of course, the roof collapsing was the big noise that alerted them. And out come the clickers. It's a clicker party, and props to the makeup department. Props. Here's the other thing. Here's the other thing that I learned. The voice actors, the same people that made the sounds for the clickers in the game, they got the same people that made the sounds for the game to come back and do the sounds for the clickers for the show. That's why they sounded so on point. It was the same fucking people.
Holy fuck.
That's why they sounded so good. It was the same people.
That is... I'm liking the show more and more.
And one other thing, the makeup on these clickers, whoever did all of the practical work and the makeup design, the makeup department and the practical effects, whoever was working on these designs and working with the game people, like, props to the special effects department. All of you who sat there and worked on this, y'all don't get enough respect. You don't get enough praise. Well, I'm here to fucking praise you. We're here to fucking praise you. Y'all did an amazing job on that.
It looked amazing.
We know that's not all CGI. And for the CGI stuff that was, like, we couldn't tell what was and wasn't CGI. So props to everybody that worked on this episode, whether it was digital or practical. You blew it out the water. You fucking killed it. We loved it. It was great.
It was horrifying.
It was horrifying, and that was what was intended. It was amazing. You guys nailed it. We loved it. For those of us who have played the game, for those of us who haven't played the game but have heard stuff like this, you did it. You could not have loved it more. Oh, I talked to my mom. She watched the first episode of The Last of Us. She was finally able to watch the first episode, and she was like, "Oh my god, it was so good." And I was like, "Right," because all right. If you did not know, over on my channel, god damn it, I forgot what I changed it to. Richie's Creative Corner or something stupid like that. It used to be like Zoinks Gaming. It's not anymore. But anyway, I actually have a Let's Play up of me playing The Last of Us with my mom sitting next to me watching it. Yeah, because I literally was like, "Mom, you gotta watch this game." So I played The Last of Us with my mom there. Her watching me play The Last of Us and the Left Behind DLC. She wasn't a big fan. She was not a big fan of the Left Behind DLC because she did not know that Ellie was gay. She didn't know. And she wasn't like, my mom's ultra conservative. Yeah. And she was like, I didn't really like that. And I was like, well, deal with it.
It comes up more in, I think, part 2.
Yeah, it comes up a lot more in part 2. I was like, you're not going to like part 2.
She's grown and has discovered who she is.
She's very, very out. And I'm like, you're just going to have to deal with it. Deal with it. Anyway, so it just is what it is. Yes. But
the clickers. Oh my god, the clickers.
The clickers were freaking amazing. It was so good. And I loved how they handled that scene. I loved it. I loved going back and seeing some of the reactions and the breakdowns for this, because if you actually pay attention, there's moments where, like, as he's unloading his weapon, that the clicker starts paying attention to what Joel is doing, because even though it's very subtle, the clicker can hear it, and then it stops because it doesn't hear what Joel's doing, but starts hearing what Ellie's doing and starts paying attention to what Ellie's doing. So it's very audio based, and that's why it takes its attention off. And I actually like that we're not getting like the jump scare stuff. The clicker's just kind of there, and it's just it's not there like in your face like that. It's just there. It's that subtle horror. It's not a jump scare in your face kind of thing. It's there, and it's creepy. Yes. But it's not there to, like, that's the other thing I like about Naughty Dog. They don't do a lot of like jump scares. There are some WTF moments, and I hope they're doing one of the things in Billstown that was kind of like a sudden yoink. You'll know when you see it.
Yeah.
It got us good. Even when you know it's coming, it's like, motherfucker, this moment's coming. But it's still good. There's a yoink, and oh boy. But
speaking of Billstown, I really hope they have everything set up relatively close to what it was when they first got
Lincoln.
there.
They call it Lincoln, but it's Billstown.
Yes,
they did say that this is gonna be a different kind of Bill from the one that we got in the game.
I really liked Bill.
Bill is good. I mean, I don't know how different Bill is gonna be, but yeah.
Bill was the paranoid bastard I aspired to be.
No, that part apparently is very much true.
Yes.
He's still a paranoid bastard. Apparently, he's still very much a paranoid bastard. I've already seen a preview for the next episode, because they do like next episode previews. And he was like, "This isn't an Arby's." And he's like, "We don't do free food around here. This isn't an Arby's." And he's like, "Arby's didn't give out free food. They're a restaurant."
I've had plenty of free food from Arby's before.
But that was like dialogue between Bill and Frank. Okay, apparently, that was like some dialogue between Bill and Frank, and then so we're getting backstory between Bill, Frank, and Joel. So we're gonna get some backstory between that. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we're gonna get some Bill origins, and I'm like, all right.
I kind of always wanted to see what Frank was like before he found his well-bitten corpse. Corpse.
Why did you have to say anything?
Come on,
why are you spoiling him on Frank?
I'm sorry. The game's been out for 10 years. It just slipped out.
I don't
never
care.
played it.
I know it's
now you spoiled him on Frank. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, in the game they don't really mention Frank that much until you meet Bill.
Man. Really?
We showed him part of the game already.
We showed him only the part that he'd already seen in the show.
Yeah, okay, I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
I'll admit it.
I only showed him. Look, we showed him the show. I showed him the prologue of the show, showed him the opening of the show, and all I showed him was like, okay, here's what you watched. Here's the part of the game that you just watched, and here's the difference between them, because I only wanted him to know what the difference was between the prologue of the show and the prologue of the game. And that's all fair. I've shown him. That's literally all I showed him.
That is a good segue. Moon, do you have your PS4 yet?
No.
I have a PS4, but the issue is that I don't have a way to stream from my PS4.
You do actually.
PS4 has a streaming thing on it.
It not only does it have a streaming thing on it, PlayStation also has a remote play app for the PC. You can just stream your PS4 to your PC and stream that through OBS.
Doesn't the PS4 also stop you from broadcasting?
It does. That's also an option. But some of the PS4 games through the on-console streaming app tend to be blocked. And the workaround is the remote play app.
You're asking for a lot from my internet connection?
I mean, if you want to stream it straight from your PS4, I can give you my PSN credentials, because I own the game digitally.
My problem there, well...
Or we can just wait like another month or so and he can just grab the game on Steam.
Yeah, that's my plan. Once I get it on PC, like I'll start streaming it probably every Tuesday-ish.
Yeah.
For at least 2 or 3 hours at a time.
Which we will probably make him do that on Fat Dog.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moon streams on Fat Dog.
Eventually, I'll have my own content out. Which
Your
is
content
not a
will
lie.
forever be locked to Fat Dog.
recorded. No. I've recorded a bunch of my own personal content. It's just editing. It's taking a bit of time.
You know, I do know
so
people
back
who
to-
run their own. Oh yeah, sorry. I'll talk to you later about it.
All right. So anyway, we've spent an hour on this episode. We've got to get to the end of it.
Yeah,
right,
we're only
so-
about 3/4 of the way through.
So no, we're good. We're a good chunk of it through. So anyway, or at least through this episode. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we finally get out of Clicker Town and we make it to the top. Ellie got scratched and she's like, "Well, shit, if it happened to one of us, you know."
Yeah.
Also want to point out that this is something that is not technically stated, but it is something that some of us gamers know. Clickers are a little bit harder to kill because they've got that extra bit of shroomy armor. So it's something,
Makes sense.
It's something that if you're wondering why they had to double or triple tap or why it took so many bullets, it's because they've got all that extra fungal growth that you have to shoot through.
There are some fungus out there that gets hard enough where it can be bullet resistant.
Yeah, it actually it takes a little bit more sometimes to take down something that's been also clickers is what happens when the fungal infection has lasted for 10 years.
Minimum.
Clickers are 10 years old.
Weren't bloaters like 15?
15 to 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically day one infected.
The Rat King was 25 years old. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, you want spoilers. You're spoiling the Rat King for him.
Dude, he doesn't even really know what the Rat King is. And all I did was talk about one particular infected.
I'm going to go ahead and say my guesses for Frank is either he got chewed up by clickers or by people.
We don't know.
There is a letter next to it.
All we ever found was a letter and a hung body. Literally, all we found was in the game. All we found was the aftermath. He hung himself in the game.
But you can piece 2 and 2 together when you go through the level.
He had bites all over him and he hung himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Then he probably got bit and then was like, well, this sucks. I'm going to die. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway.
See, now it's just giving him more incentive to play to find out what happens.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway.
Oh, no.
Anyway,
but
so
anybody who's played the game knows what happens.
So we find out. So we find out that Tess hurt her ankle, and she starts taping that up. Blah blah blah. I like the. I love that the dialogue. I love the dialogue as she's crossing from one roof to the other. She's like, "That was scary. This is wood," and just walks across there. And then Joel follows her. We get actual dialogue from the game again. We get the is that everything? Is that everything you were hoping it would be? And she's like, "Jury's still out, but you can't deny that view." And I'm like, yes, because that's pulled straight from the game. From the game. It was beautiful. So we get that, and Tess is a bit more terse with them. And that is definitely something that's kind of from the game, which is, Tess is more like, this is the moment where Tess is like, her demeanor changes. Both in game and in the show, her demeanor with Joel changes. She's like, come on, let's move. We got to get moving. And it's at that point in the game, if you already know, you're like, this is the moment. Yeah, gotcha.
Your first time playing, you're wondering, what the hell happened, what's changed.
But by that point in time, when you already know, you know. On a rewatch of the show or a replaying of the game, you're like, this is, yep, you got it. You know it's already happened because her demeanor has changed, and you're like, oh, she's in a hurry. Shit's going down.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on. Now, people are going to debate when you get to the State House which performance they prefer. And I think both are really, really good. Both performances are very, very good. I still lean a little more toward the game performance because there are moments in it that I like more. However, I will say I prefer the zombies coming as opposed to
Infected.
Fedra. Yes, you are right. I prefer the infected on their way as opposed to Fedra because it actually makes more sense for the infected to be on their way as opposed to Fedra. Why the hell would the Fedra be chasing them at the State House at this point?
Exactly. And the infected itself adds more tension and more,
yes,
we gotta go before they catch us, versus Fedra, we can just sneak around.
It makes no sense for Fedra to be there. And while I like the idea of, while I did like having it, like the thing that follows next and getting the rifle and everything, it just, no. Getting the hell out of there before the infected can catch up makes a hell of a lot more sense.
Yeah.
That made a lot more sense. And I kind of like the way that the show had her go out versus how she went out in the game. Even though you do get to actually see Tess's body in the game. And that was kind of a neat touch to me. But the performance, the two performances, I think you can kind of say anybody can have their preference, and I won't argue whether you preferred one to the other. I can see going either way. I'm not going to begrudge anybody which performance they choose because both are very, very good. I think both performances were very well done.
Yes.
So either way, Tess was performed beautifully. I think that it was really well done scene. I just think that I think that the infected added more tension to it rather than Fedra.
Yeah. And with the fireflies in the state building, it made more sense that somebody got infected and hid it, because it's a typical cliche of most zombie or infected stories that somebody's infected and they hide it.
Yeah.
Because it's just straight human survival.
All it takes is one fucking idiot, you know.
So it just makes sense.
Or a very concerned mother in the case of what was it? Shaun of the Dead.
Also, there was.
Didn't want you to worry.
There was also one other thing.
That was a very heartbreaking.
There was one other thing. There was one other thing that was happening in the background that they ended up cutting out of the show. There was a story that they left out about Tess and her backstory, her family. This was something that they had talked about. So Tess's family, her husband and her child got bit. And she killed her husband, but she could not kill her child. So she locked her child up in the basement, and apparently her child is probably a clicker now. But that was why Tess latched on to Ellie so quickly, because the mother instinct kicked in.
I also like how in the show they
never actually covered that, but it was something that they discussed a lot in the show. They never actually got around to filming that, but that was a thing that came from Neil Druckmann, the game director. So this is coming straight from the source.
Yeah. I like how in the show they kind of touched on Tess's and Joel's relationship.
Mm-hmm. I never asked you to feel the way I felt. The way I felt. Oh, this is real. This is fucking real. She's fucking real, Joel. I'm like, God. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Versus in the game, they were just basically just partners and that was it. But you knew when you played the game, there was more to it.
Yeah,
but they just never touched on it.
Yeah, you knew.
So I do want to go back and rewatch episode 2 slow-mo at the museum to see if they show the moment where Tess gets bit.
No, she's off screen for all of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I thought they might show it when they show the clicker tackling Tess.
I think it happens off screen.
Okay, kind of like in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. So that all happens. The infected gets alerted. Tess makes her final stand. I also love how it plays out with Ellie. She whispers the "save who you can save." Tess's line, "save who you can save," and Joel immediately snaps into, all right, we're doing this, and grabs Ellie and starts dragging her off, and Ellie's like, no, and that immediate, let go of me, you fucker, like trying to fight him off, and he's just dragging her out. And man, that is such, like, the intensity of this moment, like, God, such well played moment. And then at first the infected are running through and just passing her. I'm like, oh, are they bypassing her because they know? Do they know that she's already infected, and they're like, oh, well, we don't have to do anything. She's one of us. And they're letting.
And then she made a noise.
Well, it's not necessarily that she made a noise. It's just, and also the reason I think that instead of going and biting her, it's just the fungus recognizing the fungus and just going like, here, let me help. They said something about it in the podcast. It's they were talking about love. And it's like the fungus recognizing itself, and like the love of the fungus for itself. And that's why the kiss, because the fungus is like, because the fungus is latching on to itself and everything. And like the reason she's shaking is because that's the fungus in her, like fighting, and like it's literally her fighting the fungus as she's trying to light the lighter. And that last little bit of humanity is what lights the lighter and then drops it, and then that's the last spark of humanity left in her that ends up having that happen. And I was like,
spark.
Yes, but I like the poignancy of that. It's very interesting.
Another thing that I noticed about that infected that did the kissing, it was halfway between infected and clicker.
It's stalker. Like, it was a stalker.
Yeah. Like half of its head was the typical clicker.
Yeah,
it was fungus growth, and the other half was regular infected.
It was 5 years into the infection cycle. Yeah, it was a stalker.
Which is a good throw to the evolution of the infected.
Alrighty, well, gentlemen, I got to give this another 10 out of 10. That was all right. So if we didn't get enough of the quote unquote zombie or infected moments from The Last of Us in the first episode, because it was just day one, it was outbreak day.
Yeah.
Boy, we got them this episode. We really got them. If you weren't terrified by the fungal outbreak from before, you certainly were now.
They built my expectations up to the first 5 minutes of every episode.
Everybody was like
something that leads
everybody
into
that
the
was
infection.
watching episode 1 that was saying zombie, and we were like, no. This is not zombie. This is so
to be
much
fair,
worse.
we've had to catch ourselves several times so far
true,
in the last hour.
But we were like, this is so much worse. This is not your typical zombie. This is much different. This is clicker, bloater. You need to watch the fuck out. This is not the same.
And this is you can't just get infected by a bite or a scratch. You can get infected by what you eat.
You can get infected by what you eat. Thank God it's not the game, because you can get infected by what you breathe in the game.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah. In the game, it's what you breathe, buddy. It's crazy. It's so different.
Which would also bring a good...
There are people sitting here talking about viral and all this other shit, and we're like, no, dude, this ain't viral. This ain't bacterial. This is fungal. It's whole different.
Richie, they could have done this. They could have done the spore angle if the sun actually kills the spores.
That's true.
But then all it would take is one night for it to spread far enough and the world is gone.
Unless they have air purifiers, which they still have electricity in the disease.
Anyway,
Let us know your thoughts later.
Let us know your thoughts about this episode in the comments down there or in the chat. We really, really appreciate it. Guys, we understand you want us to respond to a bunch of different things, but we got a show to do, and we got to talk about the topics that we're here to talk about, or we'll never get through this show. Yeah. So while you may want us to talk about stuff that you're excited about, we got to cover the topics we're here to talk about.
I mean, that's what the Discord servers are for. You can join them. You can ask us questions. We will respond.
Yeah, we'll definitely respond.
We'll definitely do that. I'm sorry that we can't cover the stuff that you're wanting to ask us about, and I see you bugging us, Robert, but we can't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And honestly, I would do the whole lunatic thing, bow tie on the head, whatever. But I'm trying to keep my hair in a pristine condition for tonight. So, sorry.
Somebody's got to do it.
Going to be the girly friend.
Or at least
unfortunately, other people will be there.
Somebody's got a dinner.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, on to actual topic. Number 1. So. Yes. Guys,
this next topic I can't actually get into without risking my job.
No, that's not the next topic.
Okay, that's not the next topic.
No, dude.
Oh, that topic. Okay, no. We're not there yet. Okay. We still got
it. No, the next topic is Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, yes, that would I get into all day long.
Yeah, I played that next Sunday.
I actually played that next Tuesday.
Oh, sweet.
Dungeons and Dragons. No. Okay. So, next topic is Dungeons and Dragons, and then I gotta fix a thing. So give me a minute. Let me copy. Okay. So there we go. No.
Which?
Go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk about the thing.
All right.
Speaking of the Discord, is there a link down in the description for it?
Yes.
Okay.
Always is.
Yeah, that one's for the Fat Dog Discord, and then Richie's personal Discord. He said he will put a link to that at the end in the chat. So
stick
if
around.
you want to hang out with all of us there, just stick around till the end.
All right. Yeah. So let's go.
Anyways, D&D movie, the new trailer was absolutely amazing. We got to see a lot of the same stuff we saw in the last one, not gonna lie, but we also got to see a decent amount of newer things from a different angle. For instance, we know that the BBEGs are the Red Wizards, or at least one Red Wizard, who is trying to make an army of the undead.
Also,
that's fun.
Also, every time we see a new trailer for this, it just looks so goddamn fun.
It really does.
Every time, it just looks so fun. And this looks like the stupid shit that I would play at home. This looks like in every campaign of D&D I've ever played, and it's like, damn it, they get it. They get it. This is a home campaign.
There's the thing where the very obviously barbarian, or at least strength class lady, busts out of her ropes and starts beating up these guys. And then the obviously not strength bard is sitting there like, yeah, I'll help in a second. You're doing great.
Literally the muscle wizard.
I'll get out of this in a second.
Literally the muscle wizard.
Low.
Literally the muscle wizard casts fist.
Yes, they do.
I cast fist.
God damn it. God damn it, it's so good. It's so good. So here's the thing. I was prepared to get on my high horse and bitch out all the people that were talking about boycotting the fucking movie.
Look, really, we should have talked about how wizards
But I don't have to. Yes, but I don't have to, because the next topic we're covering is literally Wizards of the Coast pledges to leave OGL in place and untouched after massive D&D fan backlash.
So
Yay!
We talk about this
so
before
literally,
the trailer,
that's the next.
so that we can say watch the movie.
Literally, that's the reason I have this as the follow-up to the trailer. That's literally our next topic.
So yes, watch the movie.
Please go
Wizards
watch
of the Coast
movie.
surrendered.
Because here we go. In a stunning reversal from the leaked and later confirmed changes to their open gaming license, OGL 1.0, Dungeons & Dragons maker Wizards of the Coast has walked back its plans for OGL 1.1, which would have overturned their long-standing rules that allow creators to make and sell their own content based on the 5e rules system. Hold on.
Yeah!
Hold on. Kermit the Frog incoming. All right, there we go.
Also, good night, Robert.
Good night. In a blog post today, Wizards announced that they would no longer be pursuing a reversal of OGL 1.0 and instead would be leaving it in place without any changes whatsoever. This reversal comes after the Hasbro-owned tabletop giant solicited their community's feedback on the proposal for OGL 1.2, which itself was a reversal of their 1.1 version and made several concessions, including removing royalty payments and giving creators ownership over the things they create. The feedback Wizards received, though, clearly indicated that this version wasn't good enough. Discussing the survey's results, D&D executive producer Kyle Brink wrote, these live survey results are clear. You want OGL 1.0A. You want irrevocably. You like Creative Commons. Oh, you like irrevocability. You like Creative Commons. The feedback is in such high volume and its direction is so plain that we're acting now. We're leaving OGL 1.0A in place, as is, untouched. He then outlined the change in direction by writing, we're leaving OGL 1.0A in place, as is, untouched. We're also making the entire SRD 5.1 available under a Creative Commons license. You choose which you prefer to use. And then there's a bunch of stuff about the new movie coming out. So, can we all just, first off, collectively take a relaxing breath, sigh of relief, and now can we all go to the fucking theaters and watch this goddamn movie?
Yes.
Yes. When does it come out again?
Because I want to watch this movie. March.
That's a fantastic question.
When the fuck does it come out?
March.
I don't remember.
Like the end of March.
March. So much good shit happening in March. Oh my god.
There's
March
so
is
much good
the
shit
month
happening in
to
March.
look forward to.
Dude, there's 2 games coming out in March that I really want to play.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Destiny
Resident
2
Evil
in
4
March.
Nope. That's the end of February.
Oh, might be. Well,
Technically,
close enough.
February 28th. But yes.
Jesus. So much good stuff.
So much good
March
stuff
31st for D&D Honor Among Thieves.
Yeah, literally the end of March. Yeah.
Yes.
And then watch out for somewhere towards the first week in March. That's where I will be able to get whatever it's called, The Last of Us. Start playing that.
That'll be towards the beginning of March, actually.
That's first week of March. Yeah.
Yep.
About 5 weeks.
Same with Mandalorian season 3, beginning of March.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so we're looking forward to that. Man. All right. I told you this was going to be a short one. All right, the reason we took our time with the review of The Last of Us is because literally our last story is right now, and
one of the people here can't even talk about it.
If I want to keep my job, and Richie knows my stance on this because we discussed this.
All right, so I saw this on Twitter. That's how the story starts. Okay, so Brennan McInnes says, lol, at GameStop just called to let me know that my pre-order of the Divine Edition of Fire Emblem Engage sadly won't be fulfilled because corporate had them selling pre-orders without guaranteed stock. Here's the kicker. I voiced the lead in the game. Hold on. When they originally told me it was delayed the night before release, I got a digital copy instead and then bought a Divine Edition on eBay from a reseller. But it irks me that people gave money to GameStop believing they'd get a copy of something special to them and were duped. Just want to let y'all know to save y'all some grief when a game that's really important to you drops in the future.
Which is why I do not pre-purchase from GameStop. If I'm pre-purchasing, it's either going to be downloaded or from Walmart.
Here's the thing, guys. This is why I go directly from the source. I either get it directly from Steam, PlayStation, or I guess if I even still play Xbox. I'm not saying that Game Pass is bad. I use Game Pass. I just usually use Game Pass on PC.
Speaking of which, so I'm very thankful to Microsoft because they always give me a free year Game Pass every year.
Hey, that's great.
That's nice.
And I cannot sing Game Pass's praises enough because it is definitely worth worth the money you spent on
it. For those of you that are wondering why he has to step away, one of the people here has a conflict of interest because they work for GameStop.
I am a store leader at a GameStop, yes.
Which is
so
makes it a bit more difficult. He's not allowed to comment too much on this, at least at a live setting.
There's a social media thing that I can't say too much. Otherwise, I will lose my job, even though I am on a leave of absence.
So here's the thing, guys. We're just gonna leave it at this. GameStop, get your shit together.
They should really, honestly, this I can say, they do need to actually listen to the store employees more.
Corporate, please get your stuff on task.
Honestly, like, GameStop would not exist right now if it weren't for a whole bunch of people deciding to say, hey, fuck these Wall Street people, we're gonna save GameStop. Why? Because we can.
You'd say that, Moon, but I've been a stockholder of GameStop for the last 5 years.
Okay.
They don't listen to employees that hold stock. They listen to everybody else.
That is the worst practice ever.
No, the funny thing is like, no, they probably, no, we're saying that GameStop would have gone under because of how they were shorting the stock.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, talking about that whole GME thing,
yeah.
I have so many thoughts on that. I can't say on stream.
If it wasn't for Wall Street Bets owning the people that shorted GameStop stock, GameStop there would be no GameStop anymore right now.
All I can say is I should have sold.
Yeah,
I don't. It should not have been a diamond hand.
Oh,
it should have been a paper hand.
Anyway, that having been said, guys, that is our show. Thank you so much. Whew. We will see you all later. I don't know what else to say to that. That's basically been the show. Oh yeah, I need to do the thing I said I was gonna do. So let me do that real quick.
Yeah. Put the link there.
Invite
honestly, anybody who's watching this or is currently viewing, I would love to read your comments on your thoughts of GameStop down below. And depending on what you say, I will probably respond to your comment, or you could talk to us in the Discord about it.
We are very accessible on Discord. Feel free to.
So there you go. If you would like to join us,
us
for watch-alongs of The Last of Us on Mondays, there we are. You can do that there, if you would so be inclined. It takes place Monday evenings. I will say evenings, not afternoons. Evenings.
Yeah, it's typically around 4-ish, 5-ish. Enough time for me to get my shopping in.
4-ish, 5-ish Eastern.
Yeah,
Eastern. I can't even have a thought because I haven't thought of GameStop in years.
I feel that.
I do too. Yeah, I haven't been to GameStop in like forever. So yeah.
Last time I went to GameStop, I think I just saw the store there and it was like a day. It was like a year ago. I was just like, you know what? I feel like walking in there. I'll do that.
I know the perfect way.
That is very true. I like to make my store a more common visit.
I know the perfect way to wrap up this episode. Fenris, being a person that works at a GameStop, is the only person that has probably walked into a GameStop in a long time. So I would think that
in the last 2 months, 2 months ago was the last time I was in a GameStop. So I don't go when I'm on leave.
Being the associate that he is, as far as someone who actually attends a GameStop, who enters into any type of agreement with a GameStop, I would say that as far as entering a physical gaming space of that type, he is in fact the Last of Us.
I will say though, if
Good
it wasn't
night,
for
ladies and gentlemen.
if it wasn't for GameStop, I wouldn't
Let
have
me
gotten
out.
into voice acting because we have an Activision branch in Eden Prairie up here.
There you go.
And a couple of their top execs actually came into a GameStop I worked at, or asking about in-home voice actors. I was like, I could probably do that. Let's get into it.
Nice. All right, guys, that's been the show. We've been silly. We hope we've entertained you. I am Richie Roberts, your Minister of Science and Technology.
I am Moonlight Sparks, your Minister of Arceology. Praise Arceus.
And I am Fenris Aron, your Saint of Snackos. Also, John, I think YouTube prohibits that.
However, metal mugs with questionable contents are a different story.
Yes. Because it's just grapefruit juice.
This is water.
Also, you're doing it wrong. Here at the Land of Rebrew, we eat cookies.
That too.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.